I was born in June of 1985, and I was actually something like a month and a half or 2 months premature. I was a really premature baby, and because of that, I had to be put in an incubator, and the pressure in the incubator caused some problems. I had a lot of complications from being so premature. The most obvious of which is that I'm blind in my left eye. What happened was the pressure in the incubator caused the eyeball itself to be misshapen. It's more oval than round, and there's several burst blood vessels on the surface of the retina, so I was never able to see out of my left eye. And as a result, I have a wandering eye and a lazy eye, and I'm blind on my left side. And I've been that way my entire life, and only now am I really finally at peace with it, at peace with myself. And today I want to talk to you about how I was able to get there. I really struggled for most of my life, not so much with having a physical disability, but with the stigma that comes from having a lazy eye, a wandering eye, having a face that doesn't really look like everyone else's face. I can remember in the second grade, it was the first day of school, and the teacher told me that me and a couple of other children who had disabilities would have to go around to each classroom and talk to the other students about our disability and introduce ourselves. And I remember being horrified and really embarrassed, because up until that point I thought I was just like everyone else. I didn't think that I was any different. And it was really the first time that I remember being separate, being told that I wasn't the same. And that moment really stayed with me for a very long time. I can remember being called all kinds of names, whether it was One Eye or Cyclops. There was a group of boys who called me Caterpillar Face because I had these big bushy eyebrows. And what I know is that the things that were said to me were never as bad as the things that I said to myself. And I think it's that way for anyone who was bullied, anyone who was called names. The things you say to yourself are far more nasty and degrading and damaging than anything that anyone else could ever say to you. And what we don't realize is that we take this nasty internal monologue that we develop as children and we bring it with us into adulthood. And that becomes the basis for our self-image and for how deserving we feel of being loved and valued and appreciated. I used to get told all the time that I had beautiful eyes, and it makes me sad now to realize that I was never able to accept compliments like that, because it always made me feel self-conscious, and I always thought that people were really just being sympathetic. They were trying to make me feel better, and so therefore I could never accept a compliment. When I was told that I had beautiful eyes, it actually made me feel worse instead of better. And that's the sort of thing that this type of negative self-image really affects. It makes you second guess anytime anyone is kind to you, anytime anyone says something nice to you. And part of our work, really, is to overcome that. Because when someone's nice to you, when someone compliments you, you want to be able to accept it. They're offering you a gift, and you need to accept the gift with gratitude rather than push it away and say that I'm not worthy of it. At a certain point in adulthood, I decided that I was done feeling sorry for myself. I was done really hating the way that I looked in pictures. I was done having to worry about how people perceived me. And so I tried what I thought was taking control. I started, when I was taking pictures, saying, no, I need to be over here. No, I need to angle myself this way. And, really trying to take control of how I felt about the situation. I would make people walk on the right side of me or sit on one side of me at a table. That way I could see them. And what really happened is that this sort of spiraled out of control. Instead of taking control of the situation, it took control of me, and it really started to be more present in my mind than it ever was before. I was thinking about my eye all the time and feeling awkward about it all the time, where before I never thought about it until I saw a picture of myself or until someone said something. Now I was thinking about it constantly, and in trying to make myself feel better, I ended up feeling a lot worse. What that experience taught me and continues to teach me is that there's a real difference between trying to gloss over your flaws or compensate for them and embracing them, acknowledging them, working with them. And what I know is true for me, and I hope is true for you, is that by being open and honest about your flaws, by really standing in them and not trying to hide them, what happens is you begin to form more authentic connections with other human beings, because your flaws really are what make you beautiful, and you being at peace with your flaws really shines a light for other people and helps them to be at peace with theirs. I always knew that I wanted to be in front of the camera, that I wanted to be an actor, a storyteller, a performer, a teacher, and it was one of those dreams that I just told myself a long time ago wasn't possible, that you just can't do it. No one's going to want to watch someone who has a lazy eye or a wandering eye. It's going to be too distracting, and it's going to get in the way of your message, and so you just need to let that go. And for many years I did. For many years I told myself that it was impossible and that I just wouldn't be able to do it. And what I know now is that doing this show, doing the one thing that I told myself I couldn't do, has really been the best thing for my confidence and for my sense of self-worth. And I've never had a day's therapy about any of this, but this show has really been the best therapy that I could have ever asked for. Now at 28 years old, I'm finally able to see myself for the first time as beautiful and whole and worthy. And what I know is true for you is that the thing you are most afraid to do holds the key to your happiness. And only by opening that door and walking through it can you achieve the sense of peace and fulfillment and self-worth that you've been searching for so long. And you've just got to find a way to do what you told yourself you couldn't do, to do the thing that you've forbidden yourself to do. You've got to break through and stand in the truth and really just go for it. So that's it for this episode of The Conversation. If you like it, I hope you'll share it with your friends. Share it with someone who could really use this message. And if you want more tips on how to apply spiritual principles in everyday life, go on over to averyford.com, sign up for email updates. You're going to get notified every time a new episode of The Conversation gets posted. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you next week.